Recording in progress.
So my name is Tammy Gomez, and I am one of the co-editors and co-publishers of the project titled Dress Codes. And my co-publisher, co-editor, Crystal Miller, is also here.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Okay, well, I'll say that we are so happy that you could take some time out today to join us in this initial kickoff reading together so we can see one another, at least in these little Zoom squares, and enjoy each other's presence and company in a way that's more fleshed out, because Crystal and I have been living with your poems for 10 years and loving the work. And oh my gosh, the blend of your work together is masterful, if that's not a bad word to use these days, but it's really magical how all the poems blend together in a beautiful pastiche quilt of story and memory and proclamation and celebration. It's an art book because it has photography in it, and Crystal contributed most of the photography. Oh, here comes Julie. So yeah, the space is becoming more populated, so bear with me as I'm letting people in. So there's a lot we could say. So the important thing is to greet and welcome everybody, for y'all to feel a sense of like a camaraderie, to start growing in that sense, and for us to intro the book and remind us of the purpose of the book. Welcome, Julie. And then of course invite everybody to read their poem that's included in the publication and printed on a dress.
Jana
Julie,
is still trying.
Julie, if you'd like to add in the chat where you hail from, where you're sitting geographically today, that would be great. Oh, good. Roseanne's coming over in 15 minutes. Yay. So
Good.
she'll be in my cluttered place next to me, but there's room for her for sure.
I invited Shannon to just come over because she's probably 5 minutes away,
Oh,
and
good.
she's having trouble
Logging on.
getting in. So I invited her to do the same thing. So
Oh, yeah.
hopefully,
That's how we do. That's what we do. Um, so Crystal, do you have the introduction for the book?
I do.
So let me enable screen sharing. So we're going to let y'all have a look at the introduction that's in the book, and Crystal and I will read that aloud for you as you see it. You can start, Crystal, if you want.
Okay. On January 28th, 2013, Tammy became riveted by a color photograph on a fashion-oriented website of a floor-length cream-colored dress that was adorned with dozens of pleats that resembled book pages. This image was the initial inspiration for an artistic literary project. She immediately emailed the image to Crystal, who is recognized as a poet, editor, publisher, and artist, and suggested a new collaboration. Gradually, the dress codes concept was pieced together with input from local women poets and other artists. A call for submissions of original poetry was sent out later in 2013. Within 2 months, more than 300 pages of poems were received from over 50 female writers living on 3 continents. Sitting on Crystal's dining room table was a huge stack of women's experiences, hopes, dreams, tragedies, and accomplishments, the things women will express when given the opportunity to speak. While reading the accepted submissions together, we laughed, cried, cheered, and mourned with each poem. Now, having lived and worked with these poems for 10 years, we are just as deeply affected by them today as when we first received and read them. This has been a long-term collaborative effort with over 60 women and girls involved in the making and coordinating of dress codes. This project seemed to naturally attract women from many different walks of life, people that might not have crossed paths if not for this opportunity. It allowed them to connect in new ways. As more women came on board and added their influence, developing a promo video, an Indiegogo campaign, garment patterns, and an original jingle by one of the project poets, dress codes grew organically into a purposeful aesthetic and enthusiastic community of endeavoring women.
I'll go here.
Working nonstop. Huh?
I'll read here.
Okay.
Working nonstop for 4 months, Crystal, Donna Floyd, and others achieved the design, construction, and assembly of 5 floor-length dresses upon which all the dress codes poems were printed. We wanted these unique poetry garments to be worn by females at special events and launch parties, so we invited 5 women and girls from the Fort Worth, Dallas community, ranging in age from 5 to 65, to be our models. They are diverse in ethnicity, age, and life experiences. Though the dresses were each constructed from the same template, Victorian-style ruffle gowns made of muslin fabric, the individuality of each model came shining through. We offered a first look at the dress codes, dresses, and the project's poetry in the spring of 2015 at the invitation of Fort Worth writer and festival organizer Mark Nobles. Dress codes was given a primetime spot as a part of the first Wildcatter Exchange Festival in Fort Worth, staging our program in the Black Box Theater at Amphibian Stage Productions. One thing that has stood out from the beginning is how this project has brought out the best in everyone, challenging them.
Whoops.
Okay, oops. It's a great introduction. We spent a lot of time on it. So yeah, it might be the full moon or something other magical interests trying to intercede here. And this is the second time that Crystal's computer has dropped out, so I'm sure she'll try again to join us. Oh my gosh, this is like, can I say, and we're still recording, how our project went, which we didn't anticipate because we're fast workers. Crystal and I have very similar work ethics, and I didn't know that it would take this long to complete the project. But later on in the intro, we haven't gotten to that sentence yet, where we were committed to this edict or this phrase that, you know, like when you see at the end of a movie in the credits that no animal was hurt in the making of the movie, we announced and agreed that no woman or girl would be hurt in the making of this project, which meant if somebody needed to take a break or was overwhelmed with life and personal loss or tragedy or health issues, we would put the project down and take care of ourselves, take care of our mother. In Crystal's case, her mother had cancer. Take care of my brother. Last year, he was dying of his kidney and liver disease, and he did pass away. And and other things, COVID, the pandemic, having economic hardships and needing to do other work and leaving little time for dress codes. We honored each other in that sense, that we weren't going to try to steamroll or henpeck at each other, to like just man up and do the work and let's finish this. What the hell? Why are you being lazy to, we didn't want to do that to each other. And it took 10 years to do a project like this with no outside funding other than the Indiegogo funding we got, which was very, very helpful, very instrumental in helping us get this far. But we just knew we needed to do it in a way that we didn't lose our respect for each other, that we had a quiet respect and kind of camaraderie and love in the project. So we felt like if we kill each other getting this done, then we've defied the purpose of this project. And we wanted to tread gently in a beautiful spirit of camaraderie and kind regard. So that's part of the explanation of why it took so long. Hi, Crystal. Welcome back.
Hello, I apologize. today, of all day, is when the battery on my computer apparently has decided to just stop working. And that's the second time it has done that since we've been. I'm really sorry. I apologize.
I'm glad you're back, and it's okay. I was just telling them that there was, that no woman or girl would be hurt in the making of this project.
This computer might be.
Yeah, I know, except for technical components and appliances.
So while I was trying to get the computer to work, Shanna texted me, and she's just going to come over because she is also having technical difficulties. So, okay, well, let me share again, and we'll pick up where we left off. I apologize.
That's okay. We're here. Okay. Oh yeah. So Dress Codes was given a primetime spot as part of the first Wildcatter Exchange Festival in Fort Worth, staging our program in the Black Box Theater at Amphibian Stage Productions. One thing that has stood out from the beginning is that the project has brought out the best in everyone, challenging them to get out of their comfort zone and attain new levels of skill in unprecedented ways. Our Dress Codes production team and community of poets, models, and followers has grown closer and expanded in number over the years. When one woman excels, we all excel. At times, our vision and passion benefited from and was bolstered by real-life events. Less than 6 months after starting our project, then Texas Senator Wendy Davis filibustered for women's reproductive rights at the state capitol. On that historical summer night, June 25th, 2013, it was then Senator Letitia Van de Putte, her question in the Senate chambers that rang profoundly for many of us. At what point must a female senator raise her hand or her voice to be recognized over the male colleagues in the room? Many of us vividly remember how the Capitol Rotunda exploded with the communal roar of women's voices upon hearing that. In our own way, we were also part of that roar, demanding out loud, at what time will a woman, girl, transgender, or non-binary person stop needing to ask such a question? Do you want to read?
We need not be shut out, kept out of public spaces, the marketplace of ideas. If men are allowed to speak, we should be allowed to speak. Dress codes reminds us that women, girls, transgender, and non-binary people can occupy space in the public sphere and nudges us to reflect on the suppressed voices of those who never got to share their stories as literature and published books, etc. Now, in the 21st century, we will reclaim our voices to tell powerful stories, even as severe setbacks like the overturn of Roe versus Wade and governmental mandates against the education of girls throughout the world make us feel like a new Victorian era is upon us. We are lifting our voices with tender ferocity. Speaking of tender ferocity, we adopted a mantra for dress codes. Riffing on the statement one often sees at the end of film credits about animals not being hurt in the making of a film, we declared, no woman or girl will be hurt in the making of this project. Committing ourselves to keeping our schedule and workflow flexible, while also effective and efficient, has meant that we had to figure out how to work together without stressing out or hurting one another. If we needed to cancel a work session or meeting because one of us was going through a life-changing event or health issue, we'd simply cancel, providing the other person plenty of time for recovery and return of focus to the project. No hard feelings, no harsh judgments. This is the flexibility and understanding that we want to model for others. Do it human scale and no one will get hurt. That is the sidebar success story for dress codes. This helps explain why the project has taken 10 years to reach our finish line. We were efficient and we worked hard, but life interrupted our well-laid plans. We responded with patience and generosity of spirit. Sadly, we lost 3 of the contributing poets whose work is now included in this collection. Rest in eternal poetic power, Giselle Robinson, Maggie Jo Child, and Susan Vogel Taylor. Your words will always resonate with us. You want to finish this off? Or?
Okay. Young girls and women are bombarded daily with images of how we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to behave, how we're supposed to interact with others in public and in intimate settings. Many of us still squander our potential for showing our wholeness, our complete selves, by obsessing about the show how pretty you can be side of things. Yes, we all want to feel beautiful, to present our costume bodies or made up faces, which makes us feel good. But it has now become equally, if not more important, to express our minds and ideas and to assert agency in public spaces shared with men, who are often the media authorities, policymakers, the deciders. The 5 dresses of dress codes operate on both levels. They are aesthetically appealing, but they are also codified with women's hopes, thoughts, experiences, and desires expressed in poetry. The words of women from all over the globe have not only shaped this project, but have become a part of us. As you read these words, may they become a part of you as well. Tammy Melody Gomez and Crystal Miller, co-editors, Dress Codes.
Nice.
That is our introduction published in the book. Any comments, fanfare, loud noise you want to make? You're welcome to do that.
Ooh, thank you. Beautiful.
Nice, nice.
So you will each get a copy of the book, of course. Welcome. Hello, Liza.
Hi, Tammy. Hi, everyone. I am so sorry. I got confused on the time, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, it's now.
Yeah, well, you're in Mountain Zone, so yeah, I understand if it was confusing. Sorry if we confused you, but you're here, and we
No.
basically have introduced each other kind of informally, and Crystal and I just read the introduction is published in the book. Welcome, and if you want to put your location in the chat, that'd be great. We have had some challenges with technical equipment and software, and so we're waiting on not waiting, but 2 other people will be joining us. Somebody's driving over to sit next to me because her system didn't work, and someone's driving over to Crystal's house to join her because Shanna's system isn't working. We're not sure if it's the full moon or the recent solar flares or if it's just, some negative male energy on the other side of the globe that's trying to fuck with us. And no, we won't be stopped. We might be interrupted, but we won't be stopped. Never. So I am drinking my beverage of choice, a Shiner Bock in a cup, and hope you brought something to nibble on or drink, and to just enjoy each other's company and get to see each other's faces. Like I said earlier, Crystal and I have been living with your words for many, many, many years, and y'all are side by side on pages within the book, but with this event and maybe other future events like this we'll have, you will be side by side, at least in Zoom boxes, and get to know the flavor of your voices and your words, as you get to engage and interact in spaces like this. What's next, Crystal? What do you think we should go do next?
I think this is a great time for anyone who'd like to read their poem to read for us.
Should we go in any particular order or just as people feel ready?
Oh, I think it's people for it.
Okay. Well, how about this then? Whoever cares to read, I see Pilar's hands going up. After they read their poem, maybe we could tell them which dress or section they're in and the theme of that section.
Mhm.
That might be good. Okay, Pilar wants to read. Who would like to follow Pilar? So we have a little bit of a lineup known. Okay, Pilar and then Rita, after you we'll figure out who wants to read. Enjoy. Go ahead,
Thank
Pilar,
you.
when you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you. And the reason, because I was going to comment, that the introduction had made echo on the poem. I mean, I know I sent more than one poem and then you chose this one, and I understood now why
Pilar, can you hold for a moment? Someone's at my door, Roseanne.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, no problem.
I'd love to let her in so she can sit and be.
No problem. I'll blab around. I don't know. So I don't know. Should I talk about the poem a little bit?
Yes, please tell us about it.
I usually don't talk about my poems, but I figure, like Lane was saying, this poem, it's not from 10 years ago. Actually, it was written in the 80s, and it was published in my very first, I guess, still a chapbook in Mexico City in 2012. So when I guess the call for entries came out, it felt recent. And of course, a lot of the poems I've revisited because I am my own translator into English. So I will be reading it in Spanish and in English. And basically what I wanted to share is that when I wrote it, I was reading a lot about witches and, that ancestry that, at least when I grew up, we didn't think about witches as our ancestry. We thought like, oh, they're like the witches in the stories they tell us to scare us, this ugly, women, scary women. And in the 80s, probably earlier than that, but in the 80s, I was reading a lot about that and the recovering of our story, our history. In English, you can do it, and in Spanish, it doesn't really work. We cannot play that word with that word, like in English with history, herstory. I wish it would work. So anyway, that's kind of a little bit about the poem, and it's called Historia Desenterrada, and that's why I'm saying historia, and we don't have an equivalent to herstoria, no, unburied herstory. But then I left in the because I couldn't change it in Spanish. I figure, well, it will stay in as it is, because anyway, it is part of that history, that has buried our story, our herstory, and that part of what we're doing is not allowing that to happen anymore, which I feel that's at least part of what your intention with dress codes is as well, if I interpreted it anyway. So here's in Spanish, and I'll just follow with the English. Callamos la hora de nuestra muerte e ignoramos el nombre de nuestras madres. Silencio de centurias, guerra eterna. El tiempo avanzó en su viril intento por dominar, mientras unas cuantas sabias brujas no se dejaban acallar lengua, tierra. Y el olvido avanzó mientras en hoguera ajena quemaban otro cuerpo femenino, oliendo a un odio velado que no termina. Me reconozco en la voz ululante que busca recuperar la historia que ha quedado descrita entre cenizas. Mujer deshielo. Hoy, cada vez que grito, tiemblo. Es una herida que sana lentamente, heredada cicatriz que no se borra, dolor de siempre. Unburied history. We silence the time of our death and ignore the name of our mothers. Silence of centuries, eternal war. Time moved forward in its virile intent to dominate, while a few wise women wouldn't allow to be silent. Earth, tongue. And Oblivion moved forward while in an alien bonfire they burned yet another feminine body, smelling of a veiled hate which doesn't end. I recognize myself in the shrieking boys looking to recoup the history which was left described among the ashes. Thawing woman. Today, every time I scream, I tremble. It's a wound that slowly heals. Inherited scar that never fades. Pain as ever. And that's it. Thank you.
That's so
Wonderful.
powerful. Oh my gosh, to hear you read it out loud, that's beautiful.
So your poem will be in the Poems of Tribute section on dress number 1.
Okay, I'm gonna write down. I'm making just a few notes because I like to. I don't keep a diary anymore, but sometimes I try to just like keep a, like a registry of things. So what was that section again?
Poems of Tribute.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the section that had poems that where people were speaking about their beloved grandmothers, people who they looked up to. Well, thank
It was a
you.
time. Oh, I'm sorry. I just was going to say that it was a time where it started that whole silence is dead. Maybe a phrase or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, yes.
So you've lived with that poem since when? The 90s?
Oh, when you left, I was telling them that it was written probably around the 80s, 90s. Yes. I
Wow.
mean, I'm the kind of poet that writes and then 5 years later still working on it. Sometimes, I mean, some poems obviously come out differently, but I'll go back to it. And like even now, somebody mentioned about, or you were mentioning about how we felt about the poems now, and I like my poem. I, of course, in the Spanish, I would change a few things, but not that many. In the translation, I would change a few, but on the other hand, you have to leave the work at some point. So it's there. And thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for all you've offered there, Pilar. Next, I'd like to call Rita Vigil to read your work. Yeah, thank you, Rita.
Yeah, sure. I think kind of to touch base on what you mentioned earlier, like I may not connect. This is a different person than I was 10 years ago, but it's still a part of me and it's still a part of my work. So I connect with it in that way because it was an experience that I went through. And so my poem is Me Without You. Being with you, my inspiration, my words, my voice were asphyxiated. Grasped by your claws upon my neck, I lived in fear that if I moved, the very breath of me would be taken and I'd be gone. No longer did I have words. No longer would I exude my presence through my voice. Inspiration was not in my vocabulary. Self-expression was a luxury and not a common breeding ground. Something that once came so naturally suddenly was stuck inside my throat and died in my heart. Unable to even give birth to my own thoughts, I was like the bald eagle, eager to fly, but bound by my own dwindling, my self-extinction. And then I remembered that I was born a fighter and could choke no more on my own words. Someone higher had plans for me, had said my wings weren't clipped. Not just yet. I was destined to soar high in the sky, breathe fresh air into my lungs, soak in the sun, and burst free of the cage that had subdued my spirit. With wings made anew, I flew to unprecedented heights and broke open the door to the woman I once knew, yet now made stronger. Now I am free to be me without restrictions. You had said I would miss being with you, but let me tell you, that was a lie even you didn't believe. Because me without you is like a gilded bird set free.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. It was thank you for sending us that one. Thank you. Rita.
Your poem is in the section Redefining Success. And that would be the 5th dress.
Okay, thank you. I'll write that down.
Oh, I'm so happy for y'all. So happy.
Interesting, even though it may not resonate with you so much, Rita, anymore. I mean, the words are so relatable and will resonate, I think, with so many. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
thinking of younger people reading these poems, you know, who might still be facing these kinds of obstacles and walls and silences and blockages. And this kind of work can be medicine, can be ladders for people needing to get out of holes and unlocked spaces. So it's occurring to me that I want to figure out a way eventually to get copies out to people who have less funding, you know, less economic opportunity. It's important for me to, I want to think about how younger women and girls could have access as well to a book like this. Thank you. And Stormy Demerson is arriving, so the group is growing today. Who would like to read next? Can we have 2 more volunteers so we'll know what the lineup will be?
I can go.
Okay, Lorraine, Lane, and then Roseanne. Is that okay? Okay, let me type that in. Lorraine next.
I think I saw Liza raise her hand.
Ken?
Liza or Lisa. No.
Oh yeah, Liza's next. Liza's next. Sorry, before Lorraine. Okay, sorry about that. My bad. Also want to welcome Stormy to the space. Hi, Stormy. We've already in the time together we've had so far, we've had some technical disruptions, so we had to deal with that. But also we read the introduction from the book. Crystal and I did. We gave some very basic introductions to one another. Feel free to drop your geographical location in the chat so we know where you are sitting today. And Liza Wolfe Francis is reading next. We've already heard from Pilar and from Rita. And so, and we're recording the session, so whatever you missed, you can have access to the entire video after today. Liza Wolfe Francis, take it away. Sorry I missed you. Oh, my bad.
That's okay. I'm so happy to be here and to see other people who've been in this project. It's so interesting to have this like come back into my life. I'm like, yeah, this was a cool project, and I'm just happy that you're reviving it or continuing on with it, Tammy. It's just amazing. Okay, and my poem has changed over the years a little bit. I've altered it since that first show years ago. Leaving my first boyfriend. Barely 18, face flattened into the cotton pillow, he lies on his bed, a bomb of a man who practiced his whole life at detonating the barricades of his mother. My presence wakened something in the boy. Horned words about safety and virtue snipe at me like shrapnel and nails. He has lectured me about never doing drugs, but I see his sunken eyelids have been high all night. He has compressed air particles. I am a turtle trying to breathe. In his dim lit bedroom, I ask where he was all night. Then his body is a blast, faster than sound. The shockwave is his fist in my face, one swift punch in the center of my cheek. Because I am his girlfriend. And much like his mother, today I am too scolding. When did I become hollow, my shell broken lattice? My feet turn and carry me away from him and the crater in his wake.
Mm,
Mhm.
beautiful survivor story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your
was
piece,
I'm
your piece,
thinking
your piece pairs well with mine.
it does, Rita. I was thinking that when you were reading, I was like, yeah, ours can go together. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, your poem is in the section Taking Back Your Power, Resistance.
Awesome. What dress numbered? I don't know if that matters. Taking back your power. I'll write that down.
That would have been number 3.
Cool. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, you get once you get your copy of the book and it's just a bouquet of powerful thought and resistance and sorrow, but also, surviving of sorrow. I'm just thrilled that y'all are getting to meet each other and make these connections like you have, Liza, with Rita and Rita's poem. Thank you for sharing. We'll move on to my list. Did I skip anybody that needs to go before Lorraine? No? Okay, Lorraine's next, and then after that, Lane, and then Roseanne. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Take it away, Lorraine.
I am a mother. I am a girl, 17, a high school force out. I am now a wife. I will be a mother. Am I African American or Native American? Am I Latino or Appalachian? Am I native born or immigrant? Does it matter? We are migrants to the city in search of work. Here we have no family, only your cousin once removed. I scrub rich people's floors, my knees roughened and reddened, my womb heavy again. I fall and lose those twins. And you want to know, am I or am I? Am I or am I or am I or am I? Does it matter? I am a mother of 1, 2, and now 3. There is no birth control I can use. There is no money for the doctors who will tell me I am a wife. I am a wife of a drinking man. Am I or am I? Am I or am I? Am I or am I? Does it matter? I work as a checkout clerk. I am a wife, unhappy. I am a lover of a married man. I am pregnant again. I am a wife, abandoned, 4 kids, no education, no support. I am a mother. There's the rent to pay, a house to heat in these cold winters. There's 4 kids to feed what little I can. The littlest faints from hunger in her classroom. My son is ill. There's no money. My lover, the married man, gives what little he can. There's no birth control I can take. There's no money for the doctors who will tell me what. I am an abandoned wife. I am the lover of, and yes, he beats me. I am pregnant again. I have 4 kids. I work 2 jobs, still clerking with a forced smile and scraping grease from fast food grills. I have no choice, and I am pregnant again. Again, I visit. I am pregnant yet again. That back alley. It's almost Easter. I help another woman. The snow is heavy on the ground. Who is pregnant again? The pussy willow buds are soft. To that alley. My girls will have patent leather Mary Janes and my suntan McCanns. And they will have new dresses, a new vest and pants, and this year real baskets with chocolate bunnies and marshmallow eggs nestled in cellophane grass. Am I or am I? Am I or am I? Am I or am I? Does it matter? I am tired. I am stressed. I beat my kids. I am scared. I drink. I am so frightened. Please don't let them ever find, don't let them ever take my kids away. I am alone in a growing mounds of bills, the laughter, sobs, and screams of 5 and quickly 6 kids. I still work. Hey, kids, I whisper into the phone, ringing up a cash register. The boss is gone. Come quick. I still work. Take this and that with a forced smile and a little treat for you too, filling people's orders. At night, my legs ache from my veins gone bad and my mind wondering how, and yet the bills grow like my 6 kids. I still have my lover who's still married, and this one and that one, and one who will even bring a cake for the children. What must I do to feed my children? What must I do to get the medicines for my son? What must I do to give them shelter? Do you want me to confess my sins? Then I will. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I have loved. I have committed adultery, laying with another woman's man. I have given birth to bastard children. Forgive me, for I have tore 3 lives from my womb. Forgive me, for I have stolen from a master to feed my children. I have laid with other men to clothe my children. I have lied and cheated to take care of these children. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I have sinned for these children you see before you. Forgive me. Forgive me. Damn it, Father, I am tired. I am tired of scrubbing rich people's floors. I am tired of scrubbing their toilets. I am tired of picking rich people's hairs from their seats and my teeth. I am just flat out tired, damn it. And I see that question, Father, in your eyes, set in a face of contempt. Am I from the hills or from the hood? Am I from the res or from the barrio? Am I from the island or from the moon? Does it matter? Damn it, I am a mother.
Whew. Thank you, Lorraine.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Yes,
for
thank
creating
you.
the space.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I was just thinking about when you told me you read that in person, and a lot of women were weeping hearing you read that.
And your
That's
poem
special.
is in the witness and survival section, which is address number 4.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
Yeah, so each of these sections in the books are like chapters in a sense, and each section is, before the poems begin for each section, it's preceded with a photograph, a whole page with the photograph of the dress on which those poems are printed for that section or that chapter. I'm very pleased with how all of that concept got worked out between the dresses and the book, the way the book was laid out. Again, thank you, Lorraine. Hailing from another continent, we're so pleased to be able to say that this book includes work from people who, at the time we accepted the piece, were representing or living on 3 different continents. That's exciting. Next, we have Lane Calabro reading for us her poem. Welcome, Lane.
Hi there. Yeah, my heart is pounding from that reading. It's just very, very powerful. And I just will say before I read this, that it was very much a cathartic work for me. And although I've released a lot, I feel that trauma lives in the body. We don't always have to focus on the story, but there's still pieces there, and it's still a continual cathartic experience. So, good girl. Never making a peep, carefully avoiding your wrath. I learned to please and appease, calculating like math, a golden girl child with a mask of unease. Why did I stray from your good girl path? I was your angel, so chaste, dressed in pink plaids and lace. You worked so hard, molding and scolding, just to save face. I'm not sure what it was, why I strayed. Maybe your wooden spoon madness swatting bloody knuckles, or the silent solitude of those naughty pined rooms. But I knew my voice, that was somewhere inside, had to rise. Challenging my premeditated fate, hairpin curves lay looming. I was the hellion ready to unleash her rebellion. To relieve constant confusion, I took a puff of delusion, and this not so good girl sought any kind fellow to be her new mate. Simply a misguided notion to relieve my self-hate. Swinging and screaming, you tried to revive your doll prize. But with my newfound traits, I was unknown to your eyes. I longed to be free of your disappointment in me, so I challenged your terms, a daughter pursuing a mother's demise. Desperately roaming, I took leave of your streets to claim my own name without your shame. But surprisingly, inside my dress, you had sown a small seed close in the seam, and I cannot deny that we will always share the same weave. Following my own path, the space in between us took extra laps, allowing me to see that I am a good girl. But more than that, I became the woman you always wanted me to be. I became the woman you always wanted to be. I haven't read that since my mom passed, so it had a new level there of meaning for me. So thank you.
I felt that in your reading too. I could sense that all that was churning up again for you. Yeah, and you having to make peace with all of that without her today is an interesting, maybe incomplete circle for you, which is why maybe you stumbled on that last line, maybe.
Totally.
Which is a very powerful last line. I love that last line because it resonates with me in my life as well. Thank you. I'm just loving hearing y'all read out loud the work. 'Cause, I mean, they've
Yes.
been flat on the
Woo!
page, you
Woo,
know.
woo, woo.
It just brings so much energy, of course. I mean, because this comes out of your throat, out of your life, out of your body, and your lived experiences. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And we've read these poems. I don't even know how many times we've gone over them over the span of this project, and it is so beautiful and gratifying, and just so many things to hear your voices read the poems, not just our voices, but to hear your voices with your words. It's very wonderful. And your poem, Lane, is in the Poems of Redefining Success, and that will be the 5th dress.
Oh my gosh, they're so rich. I feel like this buffet just keeps growing and growing. It has so many good, delectable delights in it. Okay, next we're gonna hear from Roseanne, who's sitting here next to me. You can pull up as close as you want. And well, I mean, I don't that you can move.
Okay.
You move. I don't want to show what's over there. Roseanne's a
Okay.
dear friend, and I'm so happy you get to be in the book.
Me
And
too.
take it away, Roseanne.
Okay. It's always, I really don't have a whole lot to say about the things that I write. So I'll just do the poem. This dress, we are born in it. The fit changes with the season. Velvet, soft, smooth, and full in infancy, in childhood, stretches
to breath-stopping tightness for teen, for young woman, softens, relaxes into the comfortable fit of maturity, wears with ease into the sag and the wrinkle of age, this dress we live in, we die in, our most intimate garment.
So good. Roseanne, your poem is in Poems of Tribute, and that is The First Dress.
Thank you.
It just said you have a way of saying a lot in just a few lines, and do you mind holding that book up to this poem? Roseanne's holding what I think is this the original version?
No.
Okay, but it's this old ledger book with like yellowed pages. It's just a beautiful. That's a
It's
beautiful.
my mom's.
It's
It was my
your mom's
yeah.
book. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. But yeah, I mean we hold treasures. Oh gosh. And we make treasures, new treasures. That's a special one. And I think there's so much that could be fleshed out, no pun intended, in that piece. And that could, I could hear somebody, I could imagine somebody starting a lecture or a class discussion by reading that poem, and then people talking for over an hour about how to unpack everything you intimated in those lines.
Thank you.
All right, so we have Shanna, Julie, and Stormy left, right?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
But I'm also going to ask us, Crystal, to read the 3 poems that were accepted from folks who are no longer with us. So we'll read those at the end. But yeah, who would like to read next?
Okay.
Julie?
Yes.
Oh,
I just,
what a delight. I can't wait for this one.
oh, thank you. I wrote this especially for the occasion. It was a commercial I had seen that set me off. And as I listen to these others, I feel like I've been pretty sheltered by comparison. But the issue that's raised here is one I still struggle with at age 66. My poem is called Sex Education. So, Ashton Kutcher says to an audience of teenagers, being sexy is being smart, thoughtful, and generous. And everything else is crap that people sell to make you feel like less. Well, hot flash, AK, been there, done that. I figured this out a long time ago in spite of the crushing load of crap messages on all fronts. But menfolk not nearly as pretty as you have pointedly ignored those lovely qualities, resented them, taken advantage of them, pitied them, laughed at them, because I do not look sexy. Look is a linking verb, more like seem than is. Women are worse than men sometimes, though, either preening or pitying or both. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful means, you poor thing, you're not as desirable as I am. Don't you wish you were? It's a game, and they want you to play, only so they can beat you at it. Mama didn't like me to look sexy. Mama thought that nice girls couldn't look like they knew they had breasts or hips. She was so old school that she couldn't even say the word sex without lowering her voice or explain to me how babies were made. But she was terrified I would get pregnant on my honeymoon and lose my freedom. Little did she know how lost I was in the sea of lies about what I was supposed to be. One husband, educated by Playboy magazine, thought I was not sexy enough. Another, educated by a self-serving philosophical claptrap, thought I was too sexy. Then, when the babies were grown, when my body was showing the wear and tear of raising them, my mama would wheedle, just put a little color on your lips, as if I were somehow offending the world at large by failing to look pleasing. I couldn't win until I stopped playing. Now the games are over, and I am happy, whole, loved, and loving, liberated from the sick-making pressure to enhance myself, to please the eye and stir the libido. What woman upon leaving this world wants "she was sexy" as an epitaph?
Mhm.
What legacy can we bestow on others through sexiness? My power and grace and purpose do not come from my loins and are not appreciated by the loins of others. Inspiring lust or envy is not a goal worth striving for, and sexiness is not an attainment worthy of praise. Why should sexy be an accolade for anything? So I'll go you one better, Ashton. To vain women and condescending men, and to my dear mama, may she rest in peace, to the world at large, and especially to the advertising Hollywood cosmetics, fashion, diet, and makeup buck by playing on fear and vanity juggernaut. No matter how you choose to define it, I am under no obligation to be sexy at any time for your benefit, nor am I under any obligation to suppress my sexuality for your benefit. My sexuality is for my benefit. My sexiness is for the benefit of the one with whom I choose to share it.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well
Yeah.
said. Well said.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
What woman wants sexy as her epitaph? Oh my God, if I can only have a few words on my tombstone, I do not have room for that 4-letter word sexy. That's just ridiculous. Ay, ay, ay. Thank you. Thank you, Julie.
Yes, thank you. Your poem is in the Redefining Success section, and that is the 5th dress.
You have some great titles. I love them.
I'm enjoying this. So, yeah, our next up is Stormy Demerson. Correct? Is that right?
Hey, hello.
Hi, Stormy. Welcome. Are you still driving or did
Yeah.
you pull over? Are you at home? Okay.
Well, I'm trying to. I'm trying to park right now, and so
Okay, well,
just a moment, and I can read.
okay. Yeah, Stormy is based in Dallas. Award-winning actress, and just very well known in the theater scene here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and very honored to support you in your in your capacity as a poet. Because I know just hearing from you, over the years that you you consider yourself a poet, but you don't often get to flex those muscles too much in your life lately. And so glad that we got to accept a
Hello.
poem from you in Dress Codes.
Thank you so much. I'm so thankful to be here, and all the poems are so beautiful, so and so
Yes.
strong. So yeah. My poem. So sorry. Okay. Oddly enough, I don't remember what I titled it, but
Well, we can help you with that. What
but I'll
what
just
is
I'll
do
just,
do
I'll
you
just read.
okay,
My Lullaby from Twisted Truths.
Thank you.
My Lullaby from Twisted Truths. Yeah.
Yes. The sadness in my eyes doesn't come from your lies, but from years and years and years of cries. From the permanent wounds, the curls, the dyes, the other lies that disguise and make me forget that I am wise to the tricks of the trade that made me run to and from the still for the braids, the twists and turns of her fingers and her fingers that made my hair behave. But corporate America ain't happy. And make me proud are too loud, and could you just turn them down, because it gives somebody 10 cubes down a headache. And my dashiki is a little too freaky for what we trying to do. Yeah, even on Friday. That's why I came up with my day, which incidentally is every day when I wear whatever I want to wear and do whatever in the heaven I want to do with my hair. I might put on some regular cologne or scented oils, or I might not. I might just walk around and let the pheromones float in the air and into your hair. Any given day, I may wear a suit with no strings or panties, because I got that the sadness in my eyes isn't because you don't understand, it's because you don't ask why. It's because you don't ask why, because there's a reason for the kink, and why I put scented oils where you can't see, and why your rules don't faze me, and why on Friday, my day, I make my dashiki extra freaky, and even as bait, and even stick a flower in my hair as bait for what you're fishing for. Because frankly, I'm tired of puffy eyes from years and years and years of cries. From the permanent wounds, the curls, the dyes, the other lies that disguise and make me forget that I'm wise to the tricks of the trade and forget where my beauty lies. I am wise to the tricks of the trade and made me run to and from that hot comb, but sit still for the braids. I sit and fall sound asleep for the braids. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, good.
Oh,
Great
yes.
trip.
Judging
From the
women's
beginning to
black
here.
bodies. There's a
That's
lot
so
of that.
true.
Judging black women's bodies. I mean, that's a serious condition we have here.
Mm. Never
Stormy,
been.
your poem is in the Bodies Under Fire section, which is the second dress.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, so I think
Stormy, yes. You're the kind of storm we want to hear.
Thank you.
Sorry, that was bad pun.
No, no.
And I've been a little curious thinking, just imagining like if we were, had the capacity and the funds to expand have had the ability to include more than one of your poems, like what the other one would have been. And you're only sharing one right now, but I know y'all have others, and maybe in other forums we'll get to hear more of your other work, because I know several of us are quite literary and busy producers of new work. What is the word? I'm blanking out when we're erudite, I guess. Yeah. Yay. Everybody's just excelling here. This is really wonderful. Jeanette has arrived. Jeanette Strother, another one of our contributing poets. And Jeanette, when you're ready, are you ready to share your poem for us?
Well, I think Shanna was next.
Yeah, there I go again, skipping people. I apologize. Jeanette, if you could go after Shanna, that'd be wonderful. Sorry about that, Shanna. Forgive me.
No worries. So my poem came about because my mother died and my response was, I got married. That was not a good thing. And this was the poem I wrote after I got divorced. Somebody had asked me for a copy of a poem, and I signed my maiden name again. Revelations and Ruminations. I am my own woman today, for the first time in over 5 years. I signed my name, not his. My pen flowing through the once familiar loops, a scrawl I thought I had forgotten the feel of. I have to wonder where this side of me went, all those years when I was considered his. Was it boxed away, a scrap of childhood I was suddenly too old for? Or was it merely sitting, waiting patiently for the rest of me to come to my senses? It took my every stability being ripped out from under me for that to happen. Husband, health, car, home. When I had nothing left, I realized that I had me. My failures, my triumphs, my laughter, my bad habits. The strength of a woman who has been to hell and come back to give directions to whomever might ask. Please don't ask. It's not a pleasant trip. I see what I have. A pen and paper, a stubborn streak that's as dangerous as it is beneficial. More scars than I had at this time last year. And I realize with a small amount of shock that it is enough. I signed my own name today, and it felt right.
Yes, beautiful moment. Thank you for sharing about that experience. I'm sure many women have had that, but you have the poem about it.
Your poem is in the Taking Back Your Power Resistance section, which was the third poem, or the third address, sorry.
I mean, it's really amazing to hear these poems about feeling crushed or burdened or having the weight of toxic masculinity weighing over us in our lives. But the way y'all look and present and speak today, it's like y'all have overcome, y'all have survived and transcended, and that is just an amazing victory that I see for all of us. Thank you. Jeanette, would you like to read now? Welcome to the space, Jeanette.
I'm not sure.
Yes, a book of survivors. Good one, Rita. Jeanette, can you hear me? Hear my voice? Luchadoras vencedoras. Yes. All right. I think Jeanette, you're ready to go. I think your mic is up. Do you want to go ahead and read for us?
I'm laughing at the kitty that I was trying to get at Roseanne.
Oh yeah.
That's what I felt.
She does she pokes on my little chongo at the bun and yeah. She's very communicative. Crystal, can you help me out here? Yeah.
Let's see. Jeanette, do you want us to read your poem, or would you like to read your poem?
I have a feeling she can't hear anything.
Or can you hear us? Let me send her a direct message.
Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you for sending that message. The work has been wonderful so far, and just know that this is only about 1/4 of the poems that are in the book. I mean, it is a magnificent buffet of words and wisdoms, and I can't wait for y'all to have a copy in your hands. And if you're able to make it to the in-person event on Sunday, March 24th here in Fort Worth, you'll be able to pick up your complimentary contributor's copy. Otherwise, we'll be mailing out copies. And that
Can you give more information about where and what time? Because you only give a date.
Oh, it's Sunday, March 24th in the afternoon, 4 to 7 p.m. 4 to 7 p.m. And I think you, Shanna, Jeanette, and Roseanne are the only local people here today. It's off of Hemp Hill Street, right next to the Panther Boys and Girls Club. It's called the Southside Preservation Hall. You'll get all this information probably early this week coming up, because I finally have time in my life to do that, and we'll be making a flyer, of course, and doing promotion. The venue itself is really good at getting the word out as well, and they're very excited to have us in their space. And it's in a space, it's a chapel. It's called the Rose Chapel inside the Southside Preservation Hall, and it looks like a little church. However, I've drank beer in there, and I had hosted a band book reading in there, and I've seen live music in there. So it's a very cool venue that's has the backdrop of looking like a church. So we'll make our own poetic religion in there. It's poetic spiritual experience. If you can make it from out of town, please let me and Crystal know so that we can anticipate you arriving and can be ready to help you navigate around the city, or lead you to some places for lodging, etc.
I'll be there.
Yes, I hope you will be.
It will be
Yeah,
good to
I'll
meet you.
Oh, you
In
haven't met
person.
in person?
I don't, not that I recall.
Yeah, because you guys were
I've
both
met
at
you
the
in
first
person,
event.
Roseanne.
Were we?
Yeah.
Okay, there
Yeah.
were quite a few people. It's hard for me to remember.
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
it was what,
Yeah.
10 years ago? 9 years ago. It's been a minute.
Well, before that, I had already knew you, Roseanne, from doing open mics.
Oh,
No, I didn't want you in
were
my
you a
house.
student of Greg's?
Yeah, they're good
I
friends.
was
Oh, good
not,
friend.
but he mentored
Yeah,
me.
same.
Okay, okay. I knew met you through Greg. Okay.
Julie, are you saying you need to leave soon? Oh, okay. Oh, I
Yeah.
see. I see.
Was muted.
Julie wrote
Yeah.
a message. I'm going to share it out loud, Julie, unless you
Okay.
want to. I
No,
have
I
a, Julie wrote, I have a pile of work I need to do for school tomorrow, but I am so glad I took the time to be a part of this group today. It has been a life-affirming inspiration. I am so thankful for your encouragement to give time, and the rest isn't showing up.
energy to this part of my being, you
Wow.
know. So thank you, truly, because I just pushed the pressure aside, and I'm so glad because this has just filled up my cup.
Well, I thank you for saying all of that. I thank you so much. I'm glad you chose to be here. And guess what? We all have that pile of work in so many ways. I think capitalist society, capitalism wants us to only focus on that pile of other work and not do this vital internal work that we can only do when we make time for projects like this. So it is vital and important, and you recognize it, and so you are owed a thank you. All of you are owed a thank you for taking time to be involved in this project. And Crystal, if I had $1 million, I'd give you at least 25% of it. That's just my way of saying, you have done so many hours, put in unpaid, so many countless hours of unpaid labor, and I know I have too, but I just want to give you a special shout out because you've been a great partner to work with, and we plowed this together through thick and thin, and there's been a lot of thin in losses, familial
Let's make
losses,
some noise.
suffering. Yes, make some
It's
noise.
weird to applaud. It's weird to applaud in silence. I have
Well,
to say
Tammy,
that.
this has been the project of a lifetime, and I have loved working with you on it.
Oh,
And
that means a lot. Thank you.
and we've become, I mean, we were friends before we started this project, but over the course of this, with everything that we both have been through, we have grown to be so close. And, we're family, we're family now. And, it means the world to me, more than I could ever express.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you. We got that on tape too. Oh my gosh. Okay, and with the part of that $1 million that I don't have, I would fly all of y'all in a heartbeat. Half of a heartbeat. I would fly all of you in so we could be together, and not just for the reading on March 24th, but for like a weekend camp out together to share and grow and immerse in each other's beautiful, boundless energies and creative expressions, because each of us is a towering landscape of fruit and bounty and brilliance. I'm really honored to know each and every one of you.
Me too.
Thank you
This has
both.
been a wonderful project, getting to know everyone and getting to know everyone through your poems. Everyone they're all so raw and vulnerable and honest, and it's just, the beauty of it is overwhelming.
I want to can I say something?
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah. It's just here. There's a picture of my one of my great grandmothers. Tammy, I have told Tammy about this project, and I was just thinking how how funny life is and how beautiful it is because I didn't know I would be working on her story 10 years ago when you girls started your own project. And Since then, I've done a lot of, life and readings like every one of you. And it's shown by what we've said about our poems and how we feel different about them in many ways. So I am really excited. It's one of the few projects that I feel so. I mean, I feel it has grown. It's not like, oh yeah, I remember that project. Oh, they finally sent me the book or whatever. I finally. No, I mean, you've made it grow in a way that I didn't expect, and I admire you both. I am really looking forward to seeing the book, and I will cooperate. I will let you know how later on, but I'm really again. It would be great if we can. I think we're in a group, right? So it will be easy to connect with everybody now that we've seen each other's or heard each other's voice.
Yes,
Anyway, thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you for
and
this
of course,
trouble.
and
I'm
feel
sorry.
free to share your contact information, or reach out to people in the some messages here if you like. Um, yes, I agree, Liza. It would be cool if incarcerated women had access to the book. That's a brilliant idea, and it will not die here, without some consideration and effort on my part. Thank you. I would like to, I have already asked Jeanette if we could read her poem on her behalf. Apparently, Jeanette is also having some technical difficulties, with no sound. So I haven't heard back from, Jeanette on that, but, what do you say, Crystal? Should we go ahead and read Jeanette's poem?
Sure. I think that sounds like a good idea.
Do you have it up?
I will in just a second.
Okay.
Or would you like me to share it to the screen so everyone can see?
That's a great idea. It's so beautifully laid out. And I'll just say, Jeanette, you did a wonderful job in laying out this piece in the sections. And it's just got a wonderful conceit, if that's the right word. It's laid out kind of like almost like a script for a performance, but it also alludes to different layers of somebody's timeline of struggle with physical debilitating disease. And I imagine listening to this with some nice classical music playing softly in the background.
Do you want me to read?
Please, please.
Here. Satin Slippers and Pink Ribbons by Jeanette Struther. Premiere. With her heels and knees together, toes pointed out, forming a V shape. She stands straight, her head, back and pelvis aligned, her arms softly curved in front of her torso. Her pale face sets in determination. Second position. She turns her legs out from the hips, her feet shoulder length apart in a V shape. She rounds her arms and puts them out to her sides. She hears the diagnosis, leukemia. Third position. Her legs turn out from the hips. She crosses a front heel halfway in front of the other foot. Her heels touch one to the other at the middle of the feet. She raises her right arm overhead in a semicircle and extends her left arm. Her bone marrow transplants begin. Her hair thins in response to chemotherapy. 4th position, her movements are stilted. She is exhausted by treatment, reactions, and countermands. She develops a new language, infection, anemia, and depression. 5th position, we cross her legs in front of the other to turn her side to side. We lift her arms to raise her up in bed. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. She has no escape, no return. I don't want to butcher it.
It's heartbreaking and beautiful. Heartbreaking and beautiful. Thank you, Jeanette, for that wonderful poem.
Échappé.
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 I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to. I really dislike mispronouncing words, and I'd rather just say I don't know how to pronounce this than, you know. But anyway, that's a me thing.
Jeanette, I hope
Strong.
you enjoyed hearing that. And so many people are going to be reading that piece, and I think it may resonate with so many of us that have had illness and disease in our own bodies or in the bodies of people we love and care about. And that's a sad journey to also have to walk with people who are ill. That's a beautiful piece. The next, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Real quick, before I forget, Jeanette's poem is in the poems bodies of the section Bodies Under Fire.
Bodies Under Fire, yeah. As we mentioned earlier, when we were reading the introduction to the book, it's a very very sad and hard thing to have to share is the fact that 3 of the people who contributed poems to the book, to this project, have passed away. And we lost them and their powerful voices, but at least we have the one poem for this collection that will remind us forever of them, and their strength and creative energy and joy. But there was also, for me personally, I felt a sense of urgency to try to really finish out the project, because I didn't want us to lose more people before we got the book in your hands. But I'm very sad that Maggie Jo Child, Giselle Robinson, and Susan Vogel Taylor are not with us today to celebrate in person with us. We're going to read their poems now on their behalf. And we did the work, Crystal and I did the work to reach out to family members or close representatives of each poet to make sure they approved of us including their poem in this collection. We didn't want to assume anymore that was still permittable. And each of the representatives that we reached out to said, yes, please run the poem. Please include the poem. Thank you. So we did do that work. That was very important to do. Would you like to go first with Susan's poem, Crystal?
Yes.
If you want to say a little bit about Susan too, I mean, I might talk about Maggie and Giselle.
So if you were a part of the Fort Worth and Dallas, really, poetry scene, anytime from the 80s to the mid, what would be teens, 20 teens, I don't know how you say that. Then you ran across Susan Vogel Taylor. She did a little bit of everything. She was a poetry powerhouse. She did readings. She would encourage people to read that probably never would have stepped up to the mic. She was a fantastic fiber artist and ceramic artist and painter. She was one of my best friends for over 20 years. And we lost her a couple of years ago. And she was also, an amazing poet and performer. And she She made a mark on the world. She is missed. So this is her poem, Meditations of the High Priestess on the Night of the Full Moon. 2 days after Colonel Eileen Collins landed the space shuttle off the coast of Florida, a bride dressed in black led 13 camels into the desert where she was eaten by gnats. Thus a destiny to expiate the crime of being female by humble, impoverished self-immolation over long, long years, growing fat on one's screams, to be reborn, protected, untrammeled, neuter. With this in mind, I clock backwards, entreating the 13-armed goddess to shield me from priests and gutter rats who would name me serpent, the bearer of earth laws, of spiral paths, and original sins. After so many years of burning, can anybody wonder that we withheld our tongues?
That's just splendid and brilliant.
I missed whose poem that was.
That was Susan Vogel Taylor's. And her poem is in the Bodies Under Fire section.
So just taking a moment to take that in. I'm going to take just a brief moment to show you a photograph of Susan from our first public event where we showed the dresses upon which the poems are printed. That's Susan with her arms upraised. I just love that photo. I'm not sure if that was something you shot, Lane, or I don't remember where that photo came from. And Megan York was one of our models wearing that beautiful dress. And on those pleats are the poems printed, the printed poems. And that's Susan Vogel Taylor, May She Always Rest in Poetic Power. I would like to share the my screen to show you the poem by Maggie Jo Child that I'd like to read next. Maggie lived in Austin, Texas, which is where I got to meet her long ago in the 1990s, and she was a fireball of activism and creative activity and movement. She called herself a lesbian dyke. She had many followers, people who loved, you know, waiting for every word to come out of her mouth because she was very wise and she had a lot of leadership qualities. She ended up being very ill and was confined to her bed. She had very limited mobility in her apartment, but she posted constantly on Facebook, and every one of her posts was revelatory and introspective and gorgeous. She submitted a work to us, and we included this poem, which now, upon hearing you read your piece, Lorraine, I feel like there's a connection between your mother poem and this one I'm about to read by Maggie Jo Child. May Maggie rest in peace. Poetic Power. Placenta Previa by Maggie Jo Child. I remember Mama's belly when she quickened with my last brother, the dropping curve of it and her drained face, how she stopped smiling. I'm the only human alive now who can remember this, with her name attached to all it meant. My memory matters to me, but who else? The dust that blows down Garden Rose is from bones of women who were treasured like I did Mama. I am supposed to feel safety in a world where erasure is continuous. I would look at her that autumn and say, I love you, hoping the gray would lift for once. Because Maggie is no longer here to be the only human alive now remembering this. I hope you will read and reread her poem when you have the book and remember this for her. How much she loved her mom in her trailer park childhood long ago and wanted more for her mother. Thank you. I'll also say that when the dresses were already made and we'd had that event where we showed the dresses, I was invited to a birthday party in Maggie's apartment, and I was honored to receive an invitation because her apartment was very small and she was in a hospital bed, and we basically got to stand around the bed, and her partner who'd flown in from England did this fabulous cooking, and there was cake and tons of wine and booze. It was so much fun. And I told Crystal, probably with tears in my eyes, Crystal, I have to go because I don't know how much longer Maggie will be with us. And I would like to take that dress that Maggie's poem is printed on so I can show it to Maggie at her bedside. I want to take it. And I did. I put it in a suitcase, its own suitcase, and went on the mega bus down to Austin. And when I held it above Maggie, I have photos of it, which I need to drag up, but she was so tickled and so honored. And she didn't live to get to see the book, but she did see the skirt, and she saw her poem printed on some pleats of that skirt. And I'm glad we had that to offer her, to share with her. So all of these things take time. Can you think of any other publishers and editors that would do this kind of labor, this loving, caring, world building labor? Because we're trying to build a world that is trying to shut us down, to kill us, negate our efforts, and make us feel like we're silly for caring as much as we do. All right. I'm going to share the last poem that I need to read now, and that's by Giselle Robinson. And Giselle died of cancer. She lived here in Fort Worth, and she was so beloved as a slam poet who was starting to get a lot of momentum as a slam poet. And she was from the Caribbean.
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas. Do you want to tell about her a little bit? Oh, well, she was from St. Thomas, and she was a Caribbean island woman, and loved ocean and warm weather, and her poems just tell a lot about that experience. I'm sorry, I'm picking of her home place, and that's something I kind of miss because we don't get to hear about that part of the world too often in Texas. Is this the right one? And here's her poem. It's titled Addict by Giselle Robinson. The next time I ask you to come over, like an addict hooked on pain, remind me how much I hate it when you come at midnight and leave at 3, like some twisted crucifixion of my pride. Next time I ask you to come over, remind me what it feels like to be gawked and giggled at like a circus attraction that spews when the strong man twists her just so nobody stays at the circus once the show is over. Next time I invite you over, remind me of the curious burn that comes every time you tell me of your dull and doldrums, your duty, while friends share pictures of you frolicking in public with you, that place where I am not welcome. The next time I invite you over, be that good friend, that one who knows me, the one that's read me. I am my poetry that knows all day shame is not worth the 3-hour ride. The next time I invite you over, say no. Then I won't paint stripes on myself, pretending I am not alone. And that is some real talk right there.
That was Giselle.
And she left us too young. She left too young, and we miss her. And she is beloved. And her grandniece, who is the executor of Giselle's literary estate, is thrilled for us to be including a poem in dress codes. And we'll probably attend our in-person event in March.
Well, Giselle's poem is in the Taking Back Your Power Resistance section, and Maggie's poem was in the Poems of Tribute section.
Can you feel how much emotional labor also went into this project? Can y'all feel that with us and see just that it couldn't be any other way, you know, to do this project right, this type of project and this content the way we wanted it to be. I see that y'all are sharing about yourselves and your websites and how to reach, you know, be in touch with you. Thank you so much for wanting to reach out and connect on that level. Just a reminder, we have the Facebook group that's we have two Facebook groups titled Dress Codes. One is Community, and that's the one that's public facing, where we'll just share announcements about the project and where to buy the book, etc. But the one that's called Facebook Group, that's just us. That's just the poets and the editors and the photographer, etc. So that's where we'll share some internal stuff. So if y'all want to reach out to each other that in that forum, feel free to join that group. We now have an Instagram, which is very new, and it only has a few images. If somebody would like to help me further populate that Instagram with content, somebody who's fast and probably younger than me on that type of social media thing, please reach out. That would be great. Because we'll be I mean, we have a lot of content. We have lots of photos already from the life of the project. Just don't have the time or the capacity to be fast in uploading those. We're good at asking for help because it makes things go smoother. It's often more fun, and it allows more voices and ideas to get included in the project.
What help you need with that?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was asking you, Tammy, what kind of help do you need with the Instagram page?
Well, if you're interested, let's just talk separately so that we don't have to take up time here. But yeah, basically what I said is uploading photos and content.
Okay.
That would be great. As little or as much as you'd like to do or anyone would like to help with.
Maybe, I'm sorry, maybe you can connect the pages or whatever. You have the Facebook and the Instagram account sometimes, so that would help with the work.
Yeah, you see, that's the kind of thinking I need help with. I mean, I could like, you know, take time to figure all that out, but it's just I'd rather focus on the other things we're having. Like we have to mail out all the things, so we have to be sure we have everybody's addresses. So hint, if you live outside of Dallas Fort Worth and would like a copy of the book mailed to you and you don't think we have your mailing address, feel free to email it to me and Crystal. Just send it via regular email if you don't mind, and the subject, you know, my mailing address. That would be helpful. Thank you.
Tammy, where will the book be available outside of the wonderful copy that you've offered us? Is there going to be a way to get other copies?
Crystal, do you want to address that?
Yes. We will have a Lulu store, and we'll share that link out the same day that we have the book launch, and it's a print on demand service, so anyone can go and order a copy. and it'll be direct mailed to you.
Fantastic.
We do plan to have like you know, we'll be promoting that link beyond sending it to our own poets, because we want other people to shop for it and know that it exists. And if you have friends who love poetry, wherever you live, and you know, places far away from places I have access to, please, once that link is shared with you, feel free to share it with whomever you think might be interested in buying the book for their own use and library, or for classrooms, or for prisons, or other groups that they think would benefit from reading your wonderful work.
And there'll be some copies available for sale at the event also.
Does anybody, I'm gonna open up a little space here for a minute or so. I'm sorry, I'm typing a note, Rita. If you have any suggestions on something we're not seeing or thinking about regarding the launch of the book, feel free to share that with us, either, you know, now or via, you know, a private email later. You know, we're happy to hear what you have to say. You know, we've worked really diligently on this for as long as we've had time to, meaning, you know, we had illness and loss and things to also, you know, that would stop us, but then we'd come back. We'd have to we'd have to refresh our memory on a lot of things, because we'd gotten a little rusty on where we were with the project. So we'd have to go dig up old thumb drives and files, and it was yeah, it was a continuous continuous push. I want to give a shout out to Ellie Ivanova. She is a Bulgarian scholar and photographer who was studying here in North Texas, and she really helped us a lot with the cover art. So the beautiful photographs you'll see on the front and back cover are by Ellie, who's now residing in Italy with her family. But she wishes the project well, of course.
Tammy, I just wanted to say really quick, Stormy has tried to send a few messages to the group, but they're going directly to me. And I think it just, for whatever reason, the message thing was weird, but I just wanted to tell you that. And she said, thank you to you and Crystal specifically, and to everybody. And then she just wrote, it was great hearing everyone. I have an event to go to soon. Much love to you all. Congratulations. So just so you know that, I feel like I was like, oh, they keep coming to me. And she doesn't really, I don't think she knows. I did tell her.
Yeah,
But
there's a little option, you guys, in the bottom part of the chat that you have to, it's happened to me before that I don't notice, and I send a message thinking it's for everybody and send it to one person, and you have to choose meeting group chat. Otherwise, it goes to the name that's there.
yeah, I tried to say Stormy or sending it to me, but I don't. She might not
Technology.
know what to see it. Also, I'm on my computer, which is easier, but on my phone, I don't even know how to do that. So she might have been on her phone too.
I
But
do
anyway.
believe she was on her phone, and that might have led to some of these
Yeah.
yeah, obstacles for her. But
So I have a question.
yes,
Are
thank
we
you, Lane,
allowed
for your
to-
message. Thank you, Lane. That's beautiful.
Yes,
message.
thank you so much.
Are we allowed to tell other people about the book now, or are we still waiting?
But we encourage you to talk about any of your work that you want to talk about. As far as Dress Codes, the book and the dresses, I would say share out the Facebook community page, Dress Codes Community, and invite people to like that page, and that way they can stay updated with anything we have to share that would be public facing for the community to see. And like Crystal said a few minutes ago, we will share the link for how to order the book on March 24th. But you're welcome to tell people, you know, about today and how much fun you had and how great the poets are who are in the space. Of course, that's up to you to share as you like. We're not trying to be a secret, but we're trying to do kind of a scheduled, you know, release of certain you know, the book ordering information,
Right. That's
basically.
why I wanted to ask, because I wanted to respect that.
Yeah. So we're
And,
waiting
and
to
please
share
tell
that.
people, yeah. Oh, sorry. Please tell people about the event on the 24th, and invite everyone you know to come out. Where it'll, it'll be a good time.
Oh, and on that note, how many of you here think y'all can attend on Sunday, March 24th? Just to get an idea of how many of you.
I'm planning on being there.
Do you mind writing your names in the chat if you think you can attend? Or hope to attend?
Let's go and just Tammy. Do you want to go
And Crystal and I talked about providing some kind of basic reception things like coffee and water and maybe some cookies. If y'all feel like there should be more, then feel free to add to that. We don't have a budget for that kind of amenity. But we can also plan to maybe go to dinner after the reading together. We can go whoop it up somewhere after the reading.
Well, this has been a wonderful afternoon.
Yeah, it's been really good. You can send the link, right? Because I can't find the group, but
Yes, Pilar. I'll make sure I'll send that to you.
great. And I want to thank you. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, we want to respect your time. We want to respect your time as y'all have respected our timeline with the book. And thankfully nobody's cracked the whip on us and nobody's cussed me out on not moving faster on this, but I appreciate your
But we'll be in
patience.
touch in all those groups and messages and
Of course.
Raw Poetry. Thank you so much, Tammy and
but-
Crystal, for bringing us together. Yeah, thank you. It's been
I'm
great.
going to stop. Thank you, Pilar, so much. And to everyone who's given us compliments. I'm going to stop the recording ahorita. And then those of us who want to hang out can hang out.